Welcome back, y'all. Going into the last hour of today's episode of RollPlay Nebula Jazz. Where should we start? There's so much shit going on. Do we want to start with Aurora and the fallout of the now mighty wizard Dango? Or should we? Yeah, you want to do that? Okay. I kind of want to do that too. All right. We'll start there. We'll come back to Operation Jacker Hacker in a minute. So I don't think we see like right after the show. I think this is sometime later, but we're still on the skeptical planet Tycho. And
this is I think the next day. Like they've rested. He didn't talk.
There's like he's being interviewed. Dango is being interviewed with. I think we see him on a set, and you're not there. You're not in this interview, and it's him, and he's wearing his tuxedo. He doesn't have his top hat on, but he's giving an interview to this woman, and she's like a alien equivalent of an 80s like TV news anchor. So she's got like big shoulder pad suit, green hair, little eye stalk sticking out, no eyes on her face, and he's saying, he's like, well, a good magician never gives away all his secrets, Susan. And that's why I can't answer your question, but I can tell you. And he like turns to look right at the camera, and he's like, if the people of Tycho want another slice of Dango, you're going to get it. I'm doing 3 more shows. That's right, everybody. And there's like, the audience is kind of like, oh my God, getting excited. And he's like, that's right. I've booked 3 more nights. You get to see the amazing Dango Keel, not once, not twice, but 3 more times. So tickets will be going on sale today. And everybody's like cheering and getting excited. And we kind of like fade out on that scene, and we see the green room, and we hear a snort. We hear this like, pff, and you see bodyguard Cheryl in her. And I imagine the uniform that she wears is like the Olivia Newton-John, that like the physical like video, but like sci-fi, so shinier. So she's got like arm warmers and leg warmers and like a unitard thing, and she's watching one of the TV monitors of him on the thing. And you're also you're in the room with her, and she looks at you, Aurora, and she's like, "What are you gonna do?"
And as she like looks at me, I'm holding a glass, and you just see it slowly cracking until it breaks in my hand. And I don't bleed from it, but liquids just pour down it. And I'm like, oh, I know exactly what I'm going to do. And that's all I say. And then I just like walk out of the room, and I just start like taking off this stupid dress and undoing my stupid hair and silly makeup that makes me look like a clown. And I'm just like, clearly she knows I'm just incredibly angry about this. So where
are you headed? Are you going towards the studio where Dango is giving this interview, or are you leaving?
No, I'm going to our ship.
Okay.
I'm walking straight to our ship, and as I'm assuming Cheryl's following me, and as she's following me, she walks up on there, and I'm like, when he comes back here, we're gonna get him back here. I need to talk to him anyway. We need to have a little heart to heart. That's what they say, right? Heart to heart. Yeah. Well, we need to have one of those things that I've heard about, and that's when you, Cheryl, you in all your glory, we'll make him practice that tank scene again, and say, I think we just got something wrong with the chains. Let's practice it again. Yeah, but no, he's not getting free this time. Okay.
And I think she's following you down the hall while you're like ranting, and you go to leave the studio, right? You're headed towards the door out into the lot, and she like slams her hand on the door to like stop you. She looks at you, and she says, "Listen, if you want to leave him, that's your business. I think it's a good idea, but you can't confront him about this, especially not after what happened last night. He thinks he has some kind of magic powers. And you and I both know that you do have some kind of magic powers. And this is insane. This is completely insane. How do you think this is going to go?"
I brush, because she has her hair cut into a pixie cut, but I still like brush the hair amongst her ear, like the short side. And I'm like, oh, my dear Cheryl, we're not leaving him. we're taking him with us. And I have some friends that I want to meet that are really close to each other right now. And then
you go to like brush her hair and she like slaps your hand. She's like, don't you Cheryl me. And she's breathing hard to chase you, and she's like, look, if you have some kind of insane plan, I don't know, you're gonna rob him and steal his spaceship or whatever, fine. I don't want to get in trouble. Not over this. Not for you. And she like, you can see her like clench her fists, and she's like, I was looking out for you, waiting for you to stand up for yourself. And honestly, there are nights where, yeah, I laid awake at night hoping that you would push him off a bridge. But this isn't how I thought this would go.
You want me to push him off a bridge, but you don't want to kidnap him with me so we can get out of this shithole? I don't want to kidnap anybody. And I don't want him. Do you want him to die? You just said you don't want him to die. If we leave him here to do another magic show, he will die. Cheryl, think about that.
So she's like, I know, that's why you have to talk to him. Tell him that you did this.
Oh, Cheryl, we're taking him with us. If we leave him here, he's dead. He's dead no matter what. If the crowd will kill him, if they find out he's a phony, if we leave him here, he's going to kill himself with the tank.
That's when we hear the studio door open. We can see hear applause and stuff. And we look down the hallway and we see him come in. He's taking off his little lavalier, his mic, and he's like, Susan, that was great. I've done a lot of interviews in my time. He's kind of backing out of them. He's like, but that was fantastic. Thank you so much. Thank you. Seriously, thank you. I'll make sure you get tickets, front row, next. And he turns, he looks down the hall, and he's like, ladies. And he starts walking down the hall towards you, hands out, like he's all excited to see you. And Cheryl looks at you like, you have to tell him.
And I'm just standing there in my underwear, apparently, because I already ripped off my dress, if you remember. So I'm just like, yeah, hi. I was about to go change. I didn't know you were inviting people back, though.
So you want to, he says, he looks around the hallways, mostly empty. And he says, no, take your time. I've got the whole rest of the day off. I was thinking for the act that we should switch. And he starts just showbiz talking you, because there's a show now apparently tonight, and he starts talking about we should move this one up to the end of Act 1, and starts talking about the show. And Cheryl just gives you a
And I look at her back, and I mouth the words, "Trust me." And I look at him, and I was like, hey, regarding earlier, I think we should really go over the chains and make sure that they're working correctly. But I left my clothing on the ship, and I need to go get them. Can you come with us?
So he, I think, yeah, you're in the dressing room, you and him, and you're like, I left my clothing on the ship. And he looks you up and down, and he's like, oh, looks like water isn't the only thing that's disappearing around here. And he leans,
and then doves fly from his jacket.
Pretty much. And he leans up against the door with one shoulder, the only door out of the dressing room. And there's all these costumes and outfits and stuff. And he kind of gives you this look hey, we finally have a moment alone. I'm such a great magician. Do you see what happened last night? I'm the best. So yeah, and he just kind of leans and looks at you gives you the eyebrow.
As I see how he's acting, I'm like, well, if you want to find out more and what else I could lose, you'll follow me onto the ship. And I just I push away Cheryl's hand and walk out the door.
Well, I mean, Cheryl's not in the room, right? It's just you and it's you and Dango in the change room. I mean, it would be extra weird if he was like, let's do it and let's make Cheryl watch.
But he is the amazing Dango. I mean,
so I mean, I think if you want to, what you want here is to get out of this situation, and you want to lure him to the ship.
Yeah, I want to lure him to a ship.
Okay. Well, let's have you roll. I think it'll probably be difficulty. Let's call it difficulty 3, because he's all about the moment, Dango. But if you're no, come on, let's go. Yeah, let's call it difficulty 3, and I think you're being sneaky, right? So.
Am I? Okay. No, yeah, I want to be clever. I'm trying to talk him onto it.
It's a sneaky for sure.
Oh my god, we are
You have use 45 fucking tokens. You are definitely not fucked at all.
So, I mean, what do you have an aspect that makes sense to trick him?
Well, I am happy-go-lucky. I think I can talk him onto it if I really
I think this isn't so much about being happy-go-lucky. Is like more innocent than you're trying to be right now.
I would argue this is like family first, right? The goal is to get back to your crew.
That is true.
Your family, right? So.
Or the emotionless robot thing where you're just playing on his emotions because you have none, right? Where you're just like foolish human and your need to procreate.
You a bitch.
I was going to do the let's break it down as well because he clearly is coming on to me and I'm like, oh yeah, well you want some? Well, let's go. So I think that I have no emotions, and then let's break it down is I'm lying about my emotions because I know he has emotions. And so he wants to get down. Well, there's let's go, man.
And yeah, you're like, yeah, well, why don't we go somewhere more comfortable, like the ship?
Wink, nod.
Yeah, and he says, he's like, sure, we don't have long, but okay. And you like lead him away. Cheryl is nowhere to be seen, right? So you slip out the back, and we see in the parking lot of the studio, we see the Houdini. This is Dango's ship. It's this enormous kind of clunker.
I just saw Jesse shaking his head.
This enormous clunker of a ship. It's all battered and beaten. And on the side of it, it says it's got a big like the Amazing Dango like decal on it. And and as you approach the ship, its side opens up and a gangplank comes down.
And as I get back in the ship, I immediately go to a compartment where I know that there's chains, and I'm pulling them out as he's walking in. And I'm organizing them on a table that's right there, and just neatly in lines with the lock like right in the middle perfectly. So
you start laying these chains out or whatever, but like you did explicitly like lure him here to make out with him. So that's what he does. Like he's like, oh, don't worry about those, and like kind of like gets it so that the table is behind you.
Let's make the magic happen, baby.
Pretty much. And so I think what he does is he comes up and he puts his hand on your neck, but before he goes in to kiss you, he snaps his fingers and his bow tie just like undoes itself. He goes, and the first two buttons of his shirt pop open.
Like as he goes to kiss me, my finger pops up in between our mouths, and I'm like, if you want this, we're doing it my way.
So I guess again now you're gonna try to convince him that you want to do some kind of like
now we're getting
sex thing with the chains. Okay, right? Which Aurora knows about because of
she's watched a lot of late night TV.
The Pleasure Planet, right? Like remember you were on that like that was that whole jam. So
not only did she find Jesus, but she found the G spot. So
that's where Jesus lives. That's his house.
She watched a lot of videos. Okay, that's the point.
She's changed so much in 6 months.
I know.
What happened to you? What happened to you?
She's gone from like angsty teen to mania in like 6 months.
Yep. Okay. All right. So I guess you're gonna have to make another roll. You've convinced him to get on the ship, but if you want to like be like no, I want to chain you up, then let's go ahead and have you roll. It's going to be same thing, another sneaky roll.
I want to try and do something. He's in between me and the chains, right?
No. There's the table with the chain that you've like pulled out and laid on the bench, like the table behind you, and then your kind of butt is up against the edge of the table, and then he's doing that thing where it's like there's nowhere for you to go because he's standing on the other side of you.
As he goes to kiss me, I want to try and forcefully pull him down onto the table.
Like, you want to like judo him onto the table?
Go on.
Around
okay.
And like slam his face into the table.
Okay, all right.
Take your time. Don't kill him yet.
All right. Well, it'll be an opposed forceful roll then. So let me see what his forceful is. It's not very much. The Amazing Dango Keel. Okay.
Got real weird real fast.
Yeah. No, I did. He's got
nothing weird about this. Keep going.
A forceful of 2. I don't think he resists though. Maybe it's not opposed forceful. He's going to defend. You're attacking with forceful. He's going to defend with careful because he doesn't like this is no, I think that makes sense. So he's going to try to be like in control of the situation, so he doesn't really let himself get in a position to get judoed. But you roll first. We'll see who wins. So you roll forceful to try to wrestle him into place. I got a 0, so you beat him anyway. I think he's like, huh! And you like flip him onto the table. There's like crash as the chains rattle, and he's like lying there looking up at you, and he's got a look on his face that I don't know if you recognize or not, or would be able to figure out. But it's a combination of like scared and like a little turned on and like mostly confused, right? He's just like, sexy. So yeah. So what do? You like throw him on the table.
I could take this so many places right now, but
Take us with you. Where are we going? I'm in. Where are we going?
let's just say Aurora's been watching things that she discovered, honestly, thanks to eavesdropping on not only the bodyguards, but also on Dango himself. And as she does that, she slams herself, thrusts herself into him. It's like, yeah, you like this? Blah, blah,
So
blah.
what's great about this scene is that
so
Dango is being uncomfortable and awkward, but Aurora is being like worse, right? Like there's nothing about what Aurora is doing. This is the like, I'm trying to be sexy and forceful, right? Like, you stay on the table, you naughty magician. You know, like, it's this huge awkward scene that we as an audience can see from the outside. Like even though Aurora thinks she's being all like
if this was happening in a TV show, all of us would be like, oh no.
That'd be the most cringy thing ever. Yes.
Yeah, I'm gonna saw you in half. And, like, it's really awkward for all of us on the outside. We're just like, you know, as an audience, just being like, ugh, fuck, and she's just kind of like throwing her head back and forth and being like, because everything that Aurora does comes from like watching other people on like, you know, PG-13 rated TV shows do this stuff. So it's the PG-13 sitcom version of like Johnny accidentally hires a dominatrix. Yeah, so it's great. And he's like pinned underneath you and he's just like, yep, I'm a naughty magician. Ooh, better chain me down so I don't disappear.
Aurora like leans down. She's like, "Oh, I was planning on that," and then she like licks his face, but she's like, "Oh, that tastes awful."
He's got like makeup from being on stage.
It's not a thing. Like Aurora licks the side of his face. Like this is a sexy thing people do on TV. She's like, it tastes like face.
And then I just grab the chain and I just start chaining him. And I chain him like we do, but I'm not like lenient at all. Like he has no wiggle room whatsoever. Like he is just straight up strapped in there. And then I lock it. So.
Okay. Yeah, so you wrap him up in the chains, and again, like before, it's like you keep pinching him, and he's just like, ow, no, it's good, very sexy, I can't breathe. Like you tie him up and put the lock on him, and then he looks at you like, okay, now what? Like he's expecting it. Like when is this gonna stop being weird and start being sexy?
And I look at him and I'm like, can you walk? Can you walk right now?
He's chained to a table.
No, and I know. I'm making sure. I'm trying to see.
He can't move at all. He's like, so he like squirms around. He squirms around a little. And he's like, no, I'm totally immobilized. Ooh.
And then that's when you see like Aurora just completely changes back, and like her attitude just completely like she drops the sexiness immediately. Her posture changes. She's like, good, let's keep it that way. And she just like walks towards the front of the ship.
So you just leave the room, right? Okay, so he's like, at first, the reactions that he goes through, the Dango goes through, are like, okay, is this part of it? Like, okay, when is the sex stuff gonna happen? This is totally part of it. Yeah, okay. And then he's like, wait, no, maybe it's not. And he's like, Aurora, and we can see him, and then he's chained to the thing, and so he's like staring at the lock, and we see him doing that like I'm trying to do magic face, or he's just like like because he thinks he has magic powers, right? So he's just like concentrating on trying to open the lock with his mind. And yeah, you can hear him shouting in the background as you leave to go onto the bridge of the ship
and put on clothing first, and then
Yeah, I mean, this is one of those things where we see you, like, because it's the magic of cinema, we see you walking onto the bridge of the ship, like, zipping up your flight suit, right?
Yeah. And I guess before we fade out to anyone else, I want to say that I give Cheryl one last chance to get on the ship before I just take off. Because I have my Pit Boy back. I know exactly where I'm going. And, yeah, I'm going to head there. So.
Okay. All right. So you call her, and her little, like, you know, wrist-mounted, like, hollow display comes up, and she looks at you, and she can see what you're wearing, and she's like, "What are you doing?"
And I'm just like, what do you mean? I'm gonna fly the ship. I'm a great pilot, and I have Dango. He's in good hands. He's not harmed whatsoever. He maybe got. What's that thing that guys get sometimes when they really like girls? But he might have that. But like otherwise, I think he's okay. He seems happy. I think.
She says something about how, like, on my planet we call that seeds yet unplanted. She's a plant lady, so she's like, look, I don't need to hear about that. I thought we had something, Aurora, but clearly I was very confused. You are not the person I thought you were. I wish you all the best of luck in your kidnapping.
I like stop her. I'm like, I'm not kidnapping anyone. He talked me into going into this lifestyle, and then he led me here, and I'm just taking myself back, and he can have his ship when he's done. Whenever I get to where I need to be.
She nods and she says, look, for old time's sake, I'm not going to tell anybody that you kidnapped this man and stole his ship for, like, at least a couple of hours. So get as far away from here as you can. And she sighs, and she's like, you're a lot crazier than I thought you were.
I feel like we all need a transcript of what you've just said, because we're all going to have to use it at some point in the next episode.
And since I'm a robot who has no emotions, I'm like, you know what? Okay, fine.
That's my end transmission.
Yeah, and then I end it. And then that's when I lean over, and I'm sitting in the pilot seat of the ship, and everything's turned on. I've got everything going correctly. And then I lean down, and there's this box. And it's about, like, yay big, and I open it, and inside is this metal puppy, and I turn it on, and Sparky comes to life.
Well, and what's funny too is that you have to clear off a bunch of, like, there's like a rubber chicken and like a fake hand saw and some
there's
handkerchiefs.
A fake robotic bunny.
So clear all that stuff.
And then for the first time in all of this, you actually might see a little bit of genuine emotion with Aurora and turning on Sparky for the first time in months.
Good. Good. Sparky is not the only thing that you turned on in that scene. Congratulations.
Yes.
So you flip the switch, and we hear, I guess, as the ship, like, lifts up and starts heading off into the atmosphere over the Tycoon TV station. We hear Sparky's robotic barking sounds, and then we hear Dango in the background shouting your name and, like, demanding to be released from his chains, and then you disappear into space. So meanwhile, in the Mingasi fleet, Quinn, what are you and Baron Marduk doing? Where do we see?
We're trying to shut off the power to the
right. So we see you on, like, the engineering deck, and this isn't normally when we go to the engineering section of a spaceship, it's all, like, industrial and whatever. But I think that this maintains that sort of artisanal teacup kind of look, and there's it's more like some kind of massive, like, energy chandelier. There's all these, like, glass and gold pipes transmitting sort of white beams of energy around. The place has a faint kind of choir of humming, and we see a bunch of the engineering core kind of moving around and doing background engineer stuff, like adjusting knobs and pressing buttons. And I imagine a lot of kind of that orange glowing, like, vacuum tube kind of bulbs on things. And the doors to the deck open up, and you step out into the deck, but no one really notices you.
We slowly approach what appears to be the main. I think I would have an understanding what the main control panel is, unless they want me to roll for that. But I would imagine as a hacker and a jacker, I know exactly where I'm going, and I tell Marduk to watch the entrance and make sure no one is looking at me as I do this.
So he says, he looks around and he's like, but as you're walking up, he says quietly to you, what are we doing here? He looks around. These aren't soldiers. I could kill 10, 15 of them in the time it would take me to kill one soldier. Should I begin murdering now? And you can see him like he's like clenching his fists.
Quinn's like, no, we have other people we can kill. These people just work here.
And he scowls. He says, but they're the enemy.
Quinn just like gives him this like the look of like, I said no means no. Stop. Like we have stuff to do. He's not even like, just stick with me. I need you to kill, just not these guys right now.
Yeah. So he scowls at you and he says, fine, but by day's end I will bathe this ship in blood.
And Quinn just like goes over to the panel. He's like, fucking Agarans, and just starts like jacking into it. And which, as we know, is him just ripping the panel off and just clawing at it. Yeah.
So I mean, this will draw a great deal of attention unless you can create a diversion or something, because there are people around.
Well, I'm fine with. My hope is that the jacking will be so amazing that it will quickly shut the power down, and everyone will be like, even if they notice, it'll cause a panic.
Yeah, okay. I mean, I think to do it like sneakily in such a way that the subsequent results of the jacking are more distracting than the jacking itself. It's gonna be difficult, but it's certainly possible. I would like to, like, I want them to know that that like, well, all right. Let's, I feel, shit. I would like, I'm trying to come up with a way that I don't have to use my sneaky, which is a 0. So I would like to, shit. Oh, I don't know what to do right now. I would like to, fuck it. I want to flashy jack this thing. There are people watching. Flashy. I want to flashily overcome my reputation on the line as an amazing jacker that I am going in. Fuck, I don't care if they're watching me. I want them to see me jack it. I want people to watch me jack this thing. Know that I am the one who jacked you. Know that. So you're just gonna walk up, tear the panel off, and as everybody starts to like look up in surprise, you're just gonna jack it as hard as you can and try to wreck the ship. Hard jacking. Yeah, okay, and you want to put the ship in some kind of like emergency power mode? Yeah, I want to shut down. So basically, any force fields or any I'm not sure how the Mangasi work, but I assume they have force fields. Anything that would prevent us from easily being able to just be like, I have the scepter now, right? Sure. And because of the kind of sci-fi this is, ripping open a panel and futzing around can get you the thing that you want. So that's totally on theme. Does that make sense? Okay. Yeah. So I'm going to, I want to hard flashy jack this with +2. I think to accomplish this task, it's going to be a difficulty of 4. Okay. Yeah. And then +2. Boop. All right, there you go. So you are naturally just a flashy jacker. What does this look like? Quinn walks up and then takes off his wig, his like pompous wig, and just you get it. You get like a guy like that salutes you. They're like, Commander. They're a little surprised you're in the engineering section. Yeah, and I take off the wig and just like chuck it at one of the guys, and like sort of poops him in the face, and like powder goes everywhere. He's like, oh. Yeah, and then I turn to the control panel and just like rip it off, and it flings and like lands at the feet of another guy, and he's like, what the? And then now like everyone starts turning, and I'm just like
digging into this panel and just ripping out wires and sprockets and whatever other weird shit that's in there.
Yeah, tubes and what have you. And yeah, there's definitely engineers nearby who are like, what is he? Stop him! Stop that lizard! He's jacking the ship! And and then you like tear something important out. There's a nice, loud, satisfying thunk, and then the universal sound of stuff powering down. That like yeah, and and then I think that you look over at Baron Marduk. He's standing next to you, and he sees what you've done, and he says you seem to have murdered that machine. And he looks around. He's like, they're getting very upset.
Yeah. Quinn grabs him, and they sort of walk out the door, and he's like, now it's your turn. And we go towards the bridge, or I guess the Duke's quarters, wherever you decide it is being held.
Yeah, I mean, I think you have to deal with this problem first, in that there are like Mingasi, their troops who just saw you jack their ship, and they are going to try to fight you. So I think you start walking towards the elevator or whatever that's now in sort of low power mode, and you see a group of Mingasi soldiers. They step out from off stage basically, and they step in your way and they point these pulse rifles at you. And they're dressed like similarly, right? They have the kind of hard shoulders, and they have helmets with like face plates, and they have rifles, and they point them at you. And and then you're walking up with Baron Marduk, and he looks at you, and he says we're outnumbered 2-1.
Quinn looks at him, and he goes, just the way I'd like it, and charges. Because when forcefully attacking, I had a +2 against being outnumbered. So I want to take all these guys on right now.
Okay. All right. Now, so do you? Baron Marduk will help whether you want him to or not, right? He's gonna jump in the fray. Okay. So yeah, let's have you make an attack roll. I will defend, and yeah, they basically just like unload with these sort of white beam lances that they have as you throw yourself at them. So yeah, go ahead and attack. Nice.
7, I believe.
Okay. All right. So I'll roll to defend. And I don't think there's any necessity to drag out like a whole big fight. You just basically they'll have 3 hit points. So you
I got a 7. You have a 4, so I'm not sure what that means exactly. But
I'm gonna spend a point to bring mine up to a 6, so I only take one damage.
Okay.
One of the 3. So yeah, you run forward and you get blasted on your way. But I think mostly this is like cosmetic damage. So like the beams are burning your uniform away, and we can see your
and
shell.
It just makes me look cooler. If anything, it makes me look way cooler.
Exactly. So you barrel into them, you throw one of them against the wall, and we see you, and your uniform is all like torn and burning, and and so your inner lizard savage is metaphorically and literally being unleashed. And then they get to attack you. So they were defending, and now they're attacking. And I got let's see here. I only got a 1. So how do you defend? So this time you're within range. So they drop their rifles or throw them aside, and they pull out the sort of Imperium police equivalent of snap batons. So basically just like bludgeoning lightsabers.
Oh,
so
I want to forceful like break their snap batons, because I think it's funny that I can snap their snap batons.
Right. So you're fighting them with your fists and just like fighting back, throwing them aside, fighting with rage. Okay. All right. So defend with forceful. Okay. So you got a 3. I think I'll spend another point to reroll mine, because I think this fight will be short. And then you can decide if you want to spend that last point you've got. That doesn't look like you need to. Okay. So you defend yourself, no problem. And yeah, I think this is just you like breaking wrists and fighting like brutally, right? Like smash them into the floor. And okay. All right. And then Baron Marduk with a shout comes running in and leaps on the nearest guy and starts to like bash his head against the floor. Let's see how he does. He gets a -2.
Marduk.
So he jumps in, throws the guy on the floor, and is bashing him on the floor. And then someone else comes in behind him and like grabs him by the hair and drags him off the guy he's fighting. And now you can go. So there's 2 guys fighting you. There was 3. He grabbed one, threw it on the floor. The other guy grabbed him. So it's just 1 guy paying attention to you. Marduk is being dragged away by his hair.
So I'm definitely gonna forceful this dude. My objective is to take guy 1 and chuck him at guy 2.
Oh yeah, totally.
Because that's what I would do.
Yeah. So you just grab the guy and hurl him at the dude dragging Baron away.
Right.
Okay. Cool. Make an attack. So that's a 5. They defend with a 1. Even if I spend a point, I'm gonna save my point because that's that. So I think, yeah, just describe how you finish the fight. There's a guy dragging Baron Marduk away by his hair. There's another guy who got knocked on the ground who's just starting to get up, and there's a guy next to you. How do you finish all 3 of them off?
So the guy who's like about to fight me, he like puts his like dukes up like he's ready to go, and Quinn like the guy who's getting up off the ground. Quinn steps on his back and like smacks him down to the ground, and then the dude is like, "Hey!" He just grabs him by his torso, lifts him above his head, and goes like, "Oh, jeez!" And then he just gets chucked at the 3rd guy who's pulling Marduk. And
Nice.
then Marduk just like gives Quinn this look like, "Holy shit!" And he's like, "Let's go."
Yeah, and I think what we see, maybe Quinn doesn't see this because Quinn turns and heads for the door. We see Marduk look at you, and he has this look in his eyes that maybe we've seen on Thuja before. That is like, ah, yes, a worthy opponent. Like these guys are nobodies. This guy, this Quinn, maybe he has some value because again, like they express. They're like the androids from Nier. They express love through violence. So he now he just like this is where everyone hates a lizard man. His hate and violence is becoming affection. He wants to fight you. He wants to get to know you in an intimate battle kind of way. So he watches you for a moment and then flips a piece of his long black hair out of his eyes and then chases after you onto the elevator. So I think we jump back to Rex, and Rex, you've been in hyperspace or whatever for a little bit, but we're gonna cut to you as you emerge from hyperspace back into the real world. And have you done anything? Have you been doing anything to prepare, or are you just kind of like waiting?
Just kind of like I'm in like the co-pilot seat. You know, just kind of like my feet are up. We're kind of making small talk, and we like blast out of hyperspace. And Rex Mini like takes his feet off the dash and kind of sits up to see where they are. Do I notice anything in particular?
I don't know. I'm not like firm on where I think Thuja would be now. Like I can make something up, but if you have an idea or if anybody does. I feel free to jump in.
Eugene, where are we?
I guess, yeah, Eugene, you've been kind of orchestrating this stuff.
Yo, reunion on a Pleasure Planet? That'd be great.
Remember, the Pleasure Planet is like very much under the heel of the Imperium right now. It's not such a pleasureful place to be.
Muted.
You're muted.
The entire erogenous zone is just like locked down by the Imperium, so you don't want to go there.
So you just need a planet, right?
Yeah.
The erogenous zone has been renamed.
Well, we just need wherever Thuja might be.
Yeah, we just need to see, like, if Eugene is sort of pulling the strings behind the scenes, where would you have arranged this? What would be the scene where they show up?
I would say Thuja has been, God, Thuja's been on a planet that is like oddly devoid of life, because it occurred to her as a great place to like hide out sometimes. So
okay, so she's in this I guess why is this world like a dead world? What killed it?
It's like a weird vacuum planet. So like things can't breathe there, and you have to wear like specific like gear in order to make sure that your body doesn't like get crushed. Like it's the atmosphere of this planet is extremely hostile. So nothing can survive there. But
and I think there used to be there used to be a civilization here, but something happened to the planet. Maybe it got like, moved out of its orbit, or some tragedy occurred here. And so
maybe it has like natural disasters at regular intervals or something. And so like Thuja only camps there during like the safe window and then leaves.
Right.
Or something.
Yeah.
Like there's like sandstorms that like wipe out the whole planet like every few months.
Some kind of apocalypse planet. Okay, cool. I think it's called Dead End.
Cool.
Okay.
Like all one word. And yeah, it's this like harsh, like ruinous world. And we see that's what we get. So we see the ship pop in, and we see the planet and a couple of its moons kind of hanging in space. And the planet has no atmosphere currently. Sometimes it has an atmosphere, but right now it's in a shaken end. And we see the credits, the little like title card come up like Dead End. And
Rex immediately recognizes this planet because it's famous for mutiny drop-offs among space pirates. They would, if they would commit a mutiny, they would actually abandon the captain on Dead End, knowing that in a few months he would only have a few months to escape, or he would die, essentially.
Totally.
So it's quite like popular amongst like pirates and mercenaries as like a mutiny spot.
Cool. Okay.
Yeah. So Rex kind of stands up and he kind of like frowns and looks at Virgil, and like almost whimsically, he's like, Dead End?
Yeah, and he looks at you and he shrugs and he's like, she's your ex, man.
I never told you that.
He's like taps his nose. He's like, I told you, you got a reputation.
All right. Well, what's your plan, hotshot?
He turns back to the console and he cracks his knuckles and he says, well, Dead End's got a lot of bad radiation interference, but I think, and then he spouts something about like, if I invert the tachyon subpolar, whatever, and it's like fingers are moving on the thing, and he hits a button, he's like, yeah, there we go. And it brings up a hologram of the planet. You can see a little red dot. Boom, boom. And he says, got an energy signature. I mean, it's just the one, so it's got to be her, right?
I can't imagine she'd be alone. She is normally with someone else. He like holds back from mentioning the princess.
Yeah, and he looks at you and he says, someone else? Are we going to need to expect backup? I mean, one huntress is bad enough.
It's not a huntress. What's the apocalypse timer?
Right, and it's like a known thing, and he like brings it up, and I don't know, do we think, I mean, I feel like it's more fun if it's like a matter of hours, right?
Yeah, I think it's
of
like every other day, right? Like there's just like a sandstorm apocalypse on this planet.
Sure. Yeah, so we see that the timer come up, and he says, yeah, I'll sync it with your personal timer, and he hits a button, and we see like boom, like pops up, and both of you have on your little like chronometer the apocalypse countdown.
It's like 7 hours and 46 seconds or something.
Yeah. He says, looks like it'll be about 2.5 hours by the time we sit down.
He just kind of like puts both his hands on the dash and he's like, all right, I mean, fuck it, take us in.
Okay. So the ship cants slightly sideways, gets into orbit, and we see it kind of arc around the outside of the outside of the edge of the planet. And I want to cut back. I want to see, because I want to start the next episode with, knowing that we're getting to the end of the episode, I want to start the next one with like maybe you meeting Thuja and like kind of the big stuff happening, you all connecting. But I want to cut back to where we started. I want to cut back to Eugene, and I want to get a scene of like getting an idea of why Eugene is like doing all this. Like I want to see maybe. Oh, I know. Okay, so Eugene, and you can help me clarify this or not, but I want to see some tension between your life now and your life before, right? So let's put you in a situation that actually is like comfortable and pleasant for you here. I want to see some of that tension. What's something Eugene does when you do get to like hang up your hat and like leave work when you're not on? What's something you do for leisure? Let's see Eugene at rest.
I mean, aside from the general, just like, you know, he loves what all slimes love, which is like getting all the gunk out, you know, doing the wiggles and letting, you know, purifying the bod. Something that in both aspects of his life has always been just like a hobby that he enjoys is looking for purities in stones and gems and things like that. That's something that he always did on the ship. That's something that like helped him with this group. It's something that, you know, has assisted him in other aspects.
I love that Eugene has like a mineral collection.
Yeah, he loves it because he can tell like the purity and how, you know, the worth of those things, and it's like comforting to him, like it's something that he really knows how to do.
Okay, so we see you. What does Eugene's home look like?
Well, again, he doesn't really have one. He like acts like he does, but he doesn't.
Right, it's just like a closet in the back of your office where you sleep.
Yeah, basically.
It's so good too. So we see you cramped in this little closet. You've got your desk with all your little like rocks and your tools. There's
like all
tumbler.
of these little like super magnification and like stuff like that.
You've got a jeweler's loop floating in your little slimy face.
Yeah.
No, this is perfect. Okay, so you're in there and you're like looking at some particular like gemstone, and you hear the door to your office creak open. And you hear a voice. You hear like Boss, you in here?
No, I'm definitely not back. Fuck. Like open up the door. What are you doing here? What's going on? I thought you were taking out your pebbles.
Yeah, it's Dwayne, obviously, and he nods and you can see he's holding his hat and he's like, well, that's just the thing, boss. I wanted to come and tell you the good news.
Oh, come on, you gotta spit it out. Don't make me assume.
Yeah, do you leave the closet and like come out into the room?
Yeah.
Okay. So yeah, he comes over and he says to you, he's like, she said yes, boss. We're gonna get married. And he like picks you up in his big rocky arms and like squeezes you against his body, and you kind of like squeeze.
Not too tight now. You know how I splooch.
You like squeeze out of his arms onto the floor, and he says, "I never would have been able to do it without your help, boss. Man, working for you has been the best thing that ever happened to me. Thank you so much." And you can see he kind of like that his enthusiasm. Like he came here for more than that. You can tell like he wants to ask you something, or like, you know, like he's just kind of like holding his hat nervously. Like he you know, he could have called you or told you at work. Like,
him saying that like creates another one of those moments where it's like, yeah, I do have a good life here. Yeah. You know, he's just like kind of quiet. He's like, well, I'm always happy when you're happy.
And he says to you, he's like, listen, boss, you know, I haven't been on this planet a long time, and me and Pebble, we moved here not knowing anybody, and you know, you've been so good giving me a job and being my friend and all. I was hoping you'd be my best slime.
Are you sure? Because I mean, I can't. What do people wear at rock weddings? Am I supposed to be in a tux? What is it?
Yeah, he waves his boulders around. He's like, oh, don't worry about it. My ma and pa, they're coming in from the home world. Pa'll get you all sorted away. Just tell me you say yes.
I mean, and like, as he's about to, you know, get in it, there's like a little blip.
Oh yeah, perfect.
Yeah, there's a little blip, and he looks back, and he knows that it's the
signal from Virgil.
Yeah.
Yeah, that like we're ready to move.
Yeah, and he has this moment of like, God, I need to leave that behind. Like I've done everything I can for Rex, and I've got a good life here, and like, I would be honored. You know what? I would love to.
Awesome. So he's like, great, we're and he puts his arm around you and he's like, we're gonna go out for dinner and celebrate traditional Rocklorian cuisine. You're gonna love it. Come on. And he like takes you out of the office, and we end the episode on a shot of your desk and all of the papers and the like unanswered call from Virgil just like blinking silently in the dark, and then we fade out. Cool. Nice. So good work, everybody. Sweet. So that was episode 13. Welcome back, everyone. Good job getting all caught up and everything. Let's say some shout outs, and then we'll go and do that Patreon video. I don't know where Jesse went. He's vanished. Sudden costume change for Jesse. But we'll save him for last. Someone else can do shout outs for him if he doesn't come.
I heard the door.
Good, excellent. There he is.
Hey.
Yeah. All right. Well, let's start with you, Jean. Dodger, why don't you start those shout outs for us?
Hi guys. It's good to be back. You can find me streaming at twitch.tv/dexterity bonus. Not dexterity bonus. Holy shit. Dex bonus. I changed it a long time ago. I don't know why anyways. Twitch.tv/Dex bonus or Dex bonus on pretty much anything else. And yeah, it's always fun. We hope to see you again.
Thank you. Sam, go next.
Hi guys, I'm Sam. You can find me on twitch.tv/Strippin. This week, I'm going to be doing endgame Final Fantasy Stormblood stuff, some Diablo 3 hardcore because the Necromancer's out, and some Worlds Adrift, some other stuff too. I'm glad the show's back. I was actually really, really excited. This is like the one I do like a bunch of tabletop stuff every week, and this was the one show I was like really, really excited to get back into it. And we've started strong. Hopefully, we can get the band back together. But thank you as always. Yeah, feel free to check me out.
Cool. Thanks, Sam. Good luck in hardcore Diablo. It's the most fun and most awful if you screw it up.
Dude, I can't go back to casual anymore.
I know, I can't either.
It's true. Hardcore. Yeah, hardcore is the only way to play that game now.
It's so good. Jesse.
Hi, everyone. All my information's on the screen. Boy, would I love it if you would come and watch all the fun stuff I get involved in. But if you can only watch one thing, make it be this show because it's super fun. And I love doing all this with these guys. And I have a blast doing it every time we're here, and I get to be a giant lizard man who throws other human beings. It's a dream come true. Come true.
Awesome. Thanks, Jesse. And last but not least, our own little robot girl. It got weird today, Pokket. I'm going to talk to you about this in the post show.
Not for me. Not for me.
Come on, I'm the one that played Ada and Darius. Are you serious? I'm not. It didn't get weird. I got a little weird. Okay, I was blushing a little bit. Twitch.tv/Pokket Pokket because I'm special. I was kind of intimidated for today. I had a lot of fun though. Because I forgot so much. Yeah, I didn't forget any of it. It all blurred together. Anyway, this week, tomorrow is Just Dance because I'm crazy. And then Darkest Dungeon and Bloodborne the rest of the week because I also like Punishment, I guess. I don't know. So that's what I have on my schedule. And then Nebula Jazz, of course, in the future because I love this. I love this show. I love these people. I love this show. It's definitely a highlight. So thank you for having me on. And thank you all for watching.
Excellent. Thank you. I'm your GM, Spacemaster Adam Koebel. You can find me when you're not here watching Nebula Jazz, like you should be. You can find me running Court of Swords, as well as the occasional one-shot. If you missed it, we did a one-shot yesterday of Mouse Guard with Bikeman, Fairlight Excalibur, Ezekiel III, and Tristray. So if you want to check that out, you can watch the VODs now, or it'll be up on JP's YouTube channel over the next little while. You can find me at twitch.tv/Adam Koebel, where I do GM prep and play video games and talk about RP stuff, and lately play Final Fantasy and listen to rap music. So maybe check that out.
Yeah, that's the good shit.
Yeah. Otherwise, I'm on Twitter at Skinny Ghost. We're gonna go and record this Patreon video, and I hope we will see you again next time for more Nebula Jazz. Thanks for coming, everybody. See you later.
Bye.
Bye, everybody.
Bye.